Yeah, feel my arm.
One man, but my boyfriend is dying of a stabbing.
Ma'am, like I said, a little bit slur. He ended up pinning me against the wall. He had my neck, and this happened twice before, where I couldn't breathe. I grabbed my knife and I said, "Don't come anywhere closer to me." I had absolutely no intention of using it. It's coming at me, and I drew it.
This morning, we're turning the spotlight on the future trial of OnlyFans model Courtney Clenney. As guess what? The lead prosecutor has stepped down. Clenney is accused of stabbing her boyfriend Christian Obumseli to death in their Miami condo back in 2022. Last month, the judge granted the defense team's motion to depose that lead prosecutor who just stepped down. His name is Courtney Clenney. Now, this is over text messages and emails that he obtained that the court ruled he shouldn't have looked at. They were covered by attorney-client privilege. Here's Clenney in court.
We were okay with the records being sealed, hence why it was called an oppose, for the purposes of just getting this over with. And then however the court rules is however the court rules, and whatever's appropriate to be protected is protected, and whatever's not, that's perfectly fine. And the pleadings could be redacted and so on. But that I had to file a pleading by last week, Friday, in response, necessarily undercut the defendant's premise of their motion.
Now, Clenney says he was left with no choice but to withdraw if he's going to be deposed, because he would then become a witness in his own case, and that's a huge no-no. Well, let's get some reaction from the defense attorneys who fought so hard to uncover what had happened with these prosecutors going into the text message thread, the Team Courtney text message thread that was private. Sabrina Puglisi and Frank Prieto on the program. Good morning to you both, and welcome back. So let's start with the deposition of this guy. Sabrina, what's going to happen next, please?
Well, we are waiting to be able to do this deposition. The judge has asked us to propose questions to the state, so they'll be prepared as to what exactly we're going to ask. They have the opportunity to then look at those questions, make their objections. The judge is going to sit in on the deposition, and she'll be able to make rulings right there on the spot as we're asking these questions. So it's going to be interesting. I know in my 25 years, I've never had something like this happen.
Sure. And will we get to see it, Sabrina? Would this be something where we can have our cameras in there?
No, I'm going to say that the judge will not allow the cameras, and whether the deposition will actually be sealed once it is taken instead of actually filed, which normally happens in any public case, that remains to be seen. It will be up to the judge.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you for that. Frank, let me turn to you on something we talked about last time you both were on. You've been pushing for that whole team to be disqualified because of this incident and going through those private messages that you and Sabrina had with Courtney and her mom and dad. We've got one prosecutor stepping down. Is that enough for you, or are you still pushing for the whole team to be DQ'd?
You know, at this stage, we're still pushing for the entire office, not just the team, the office to be taken off of the case. As you indicated earlier with Sabrina, you know, the deposition of this prosecutor who ran amok on this case is going to be kind of quintessential in figuring out how deep the penetration into our defense camp the prosecutors went. You know, who he spoke to, what other members of the team did he produced these privileged documents to for them to review. So his deposition is really going to help in the breadth and depth of that intrusion. So, you know, I think that his deposition is going to help get the entire office off the case. And quite honestly, that office, who I used to work for, if they wanted to do the right thing, they should all get off the case now.
Oh, wow. And that's interesting. So before you entered the private sector doing criminal defense work, you served as a prosecutor in that Miami-Dade office, Frank?
I did, and it was a wonderful 4 years of experience. Kathleen Hogue, who was part of the prosecution team, was my supervisor. And quite honestly, I don't think something like this would have happened 25 years ago when I was with the office.
And appreciate that in the background. And so I'm curious, in terms of getting the whole office, you know, conflicted off of this case, have you taken any steps to reach out to the Attorney General's office, Frank?
We have not. You know, at this stage, a lot of this is going to fall into it's Judge Cruz's case, and she's going to have to make these difficult decisions of who she's taking off the case, if anyone, and then once she makes her ruling, hopefully it will result in certain members, if not the whole office, being taken off, and then the governor will have to appoint a conflict office to come in and have a new prosecution team assigned.
Appreciate that. Sabrina, let me go to you, please, on what everybody wants to know, when this case is going to trial. Last time we talked, still wasn't a trial date. Is there one this morning?
No, there's not. And that's the real shame of all of this, right? Is that Courtney has been sitting in jail for 2.5 years. For the last 1 year, 1 year since last January, this breach came up, that laptop case, which was eventually dismissed. All of this has been going on, us trying to get these prosecutors off the case. And Courtney's the one who's sitting in jail suffering while this is going on because she's innocent and she wants her trial. And to answer your question, unfortunately, no, we still do not have a court date.
Wow. Sabrina, thank you for that. And, we always like to ask, how is Courtney doing in jail? How is she doing all this time? Any improvements physically, mentally, anything you can share with us? Anyway, good or bad?
I'll tell you that she's very strong-minded. She's been exercising again more, and that helps to take her mind off this. But all these constant delays are taking a toll on her mentally. She just wants to be able to have her trial, and she constantly asks me, is there a date yet? Is there a date yet? And I keep having to say no, and we have to wait for all these delays. And it is taking a toll on her, I have to say.
Appreciate you both coming on and keeping us apprised of everything. Boy, I know this has been quite a fight and taken up a lot more time than it should have for you both. But what great advocacy you've done on this case. And Courtney is very, very fortunate to have you both. Sabrina Puglisi, Frank Prieto, thank you for speaking with me today. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Julie.
Take care.